تتربع دولة نيبال على جبال الهيمالايا بين الهند والصين، واكتسبت كثيرا من شهرتها بوجود أعلى قمة في العالم، قمة إيفرست. نشأت فيها ممالك صغيرة منذ عام 500 قبل الميلاد، وفي منتصف القرن 18 وبعد قرون من التنافس توحدت في مملكة واحدة، لكنها تحولت في عام 2008 إلى جمهورية نيبال الديمقراطية الاتحادية. ينتمي شعبها إلى أصول عديدة، يتحدثون أكثر من 40 لغة، وتعتبر عاصمتها كاتماندو من أقدم العواصم، إذ تأسست في منتصف القرن الثامن الميلادي. وقد سعت نيبال إلى الانخراط في المجتمع الدولي من خلال عضويتها في عدد من المنظمات الدولية كالأمم المتحدة وغيرها من المنظمات الاقتصادية والتجارية، وتعتبر الآن وجهة سياحية عالمية مهمة.
My name is Navraj Subedi. I am the ambassador of Nepal. Previously, I had been the member of parliament twice from constituency number 2 of Bhutan. That is my mid-western district, native district there. And before that, I have served as the lecturer in law and professor of law as well in different law colleges of Nepal. The Right Honorable President appointed me as the ambassador of Kingdom of Saudi Arabia. Saudi Arabia is one of the important country, and we know that Saudi Arabia has a major role to play in Gulf countries. And we know that Saudi Arabia is a power as well in regards to the Gulf countries. And Saudi Arabia has huge natural resources as well, like the gas, petroleum, you see that products. And Saudi Arabia is doing well for, you see that constructing the infrastructures in a rapid way. And it has proposed, you see, the Saudi Vision 2030. And because of all, you see, that perspectives would say that Saudi Arabia has an important role to play. We have a large number of nationals, Nepali nationals here. It counts 400,000, and 400,000 Nepalese nationals are working here in Saudi Arabia, and it has contributed to strengthen and to promote the bilateral relation between Nepal and Saudi Arabia as well. They are working in different sectors. Some of them are teachers as well, some of them are doctors, nurses as well. Some of them are supervisors in companies, but two part of them are unskilled laborers. They are working, and they say that in Saudi Arabia, then if we know the regulation here, if we know all the, you see, that culture, language of the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia, then it is very easy for us to accommodate. And in the beginning, when they came here, then they faced the problem of communication. The language problem would be there. However, most of them say that it's okay. We are working here despite the climate is quite different in comparison to our country. Then after you see that staying some time, then we can adapt here, it's okay. I participated, you see, the Chamber of Commerce annual conference or meeting here. And before that, I participated in different national days of the different missions here. For example, Czechoslovakia, Kazakhstan, Japan, and the like other countries.
شهدت العلاقات النيبالية السعودية تطورا مهما، وهي في كل عام أيضا تشهد حدثا يزيدها قوة وتقاربا بين البلدين. ربما أتحدث عن الجانب السعودي. في عام 2015 عندما أصيبت نيبال بزلزال، كان هناك جسرا جويا سعوديا إغاثيا من الأدوية والغذاء والكساء إلى دولة نيبال. وأيضا مرة أخرى عندما افتتحت الخطوط الجوية النيبالية خطها المباشر إلى الرياض وقد سبقتها إلى الدمام، هذا يعمق العلاقة بين البلدين. هناك لقاءات مهمة بين المسؤولين السعوديين والنيباليين. أيضا أيام أزمة كورونا كان هناك تواصل بين وزير الخارجية في نيبال ونظيره السعودي للتواصل والتشاور للتعامل مع هذه الجائحة. هناك أيضا بعدا آخر، هناك أكثر من 400 ألف نيبالي يعملون هنا في المملكة العربية السعودية ويتمتعون بالرعاية الكاملة التي يتمتع بها جميع الأشقاء العاملين في المملكة العربية السعودية. أيضا مرة أخرى نيبال لديها بعد مهم جدا، وهو الانفتاح والترحيب بالمملكة العربية السعودية وبالسائح السعودي وبالمواطن السعودي، ولديها خطط طموحة لاستقبال أعداد كبيرة جدا من السعوديين.
I visited Dammam and I visited Al Qasim as well, because a large number of people are here from our country in different professions, and we had a meeting with the NRNA, Non-Residents Nepalese Association, executive members as well. So I have visited to 3 places here. In our country, as you know, that we are landlocked country and we have no touch with the sea in our country. When I came here, then when I visited Jewel and Dammam, then I found quite good in the beach of the sea. So naturally it is quite good. In our country, basically, we have not much hot there. We have 3 different geographical regions in our country. Then 42% of our, you see that topography is of the mountains, and 23% is of plain areas, and 35% is the high peaks. We have 8 tallest peaks in the world. We have you see that the lakes as well, we have the rivers, and we have the wildlife reserves as well. So many Saudi citizens go up to Nepal, travel, you see, for seeing the beauty of Nepal. And some of them go to Nepal for the business purpose, because as you know that Nepal is importing many of the plastics and petroleum product and byproducts from Saudi, and we import coppers and aluminum from Saudi. some 125 million, you see that transaction of the trade has been with Nepal, and with Saudi more than several times more than that, because Saudis have you see that exported more than 8 billion per annual. So that is the case. Then in this context, we had you see that proposed Nepal and Saudi Chamber of Commerce as well, and preliminary discussions were there. But since the pandemic was started, then that thing has been, you see, in less, you see that amount, or you may say in less initiation. But we want to initiate again, and in near future we want to have understanding between Saudi Nepal Chamber of Commerce as well.
نيبال استقبلت المؤسسات المالية السعودية ببرامجها الاقتصادية والتنموية المهمة جدا العائدة بالنفع على الاقتصاد بشكل عام وعلى المواطن النيبالي. استثمرت في البنى التحتية، كان التعليم والصحة هما أساس المشاريع السعودية التي تبنتها المؤسسات المالية السعودية ببرامج طويلة الأمد، كان لها أثرها على رفع مستوى الاقتصاد وعلى التعليم الذي يؤثر بطريقة فاعلة وإيجابية على الاقتصاد. أيضا لدى السعودية ونيبال الكثير من المشاريع المشتركة التي تدرس من قبل لجان نيبالية سعودية لاستثمارها في القريب العاجل بإذن الله.
We have, you see that long relation with Kingdom of Saudi Arabia. It has crossed almost 45 years, because we have started our diplomatic relation in 1978, and after that many visits have been you see that occurred here, and in last days when His Highness Crown Prince and Foreign Minister Faisal bin Farhan visited Nepal last March. Then General Cooperation Agreement was also concluded between two foreign ministers, and the joint committee meeting is also expected in the future to implement the General Cooperation Agreement between two countries. And we are interested, you see, to invest the Saudi businessmen in our country.
أثبتت المجالس المشتركة فعاليتها ونجاعتها وأنها قادرة على تجاوز الكثير من بيروقراطية وثقل العمل الروتيني اليومي. نيبال والسعودية، وخصوصا على مستوى رجال الأعمال ولقاءات الغرف التجارية أو اتحاد الغرف التجارية في نيبال والغرف التجارية في المملكة العربية السعودية، لديهم لقاءات مشتركة وفاعلة ومثمرة لإنشاء مجالس مشتركة لاستكشاف الفرص التي لدى الطرف الآخر، تذليل العقبات، إيجاد تشريعات خاصة للمستثمر السعودي. وأنا تحدثت عن وجود 400 ألف نيبالي قابلين للزيادة في المملكة العربية السعودية، لكن هناك مشاريع مهمة لتأهيل العمالة. هناك عمالة ماهرة وهناك عمالة أقل مهارة، ولذلك يتم اليوم العمل على تأهيل المزيد من الأيدي العاملة في نيبال لترحيلهم للعمل في المملكة العربية السعودية.
Vision 2030, you see, that is very important, and not only in Saudi Arabia but across the world. The proposal for you see that Vision Development 2030 has strengthened you see that the infrastructures, the strategic viewpoint, and the climate comfortable type of you see that infrastructures are already started here, and we are impressed by the initiation taken by Prime Minister and His Royal Highness Mohammed bin Salman, and we have heard about the Red Sea project as well, and billions of plants are to be you see that planted here. This will also you see that make healthy environment not only in Saudi Arabia but across the world. I have seen that the aspirations of the people have been addressed, and the renewable energy is also the important aspect for future. The renewable energy you see that projects are also important. So similarly, transportation you see that facilities are also being you see that promoted through the metros which are to be built here within that plan. It will promote you see the tourism field as well to both countries, for Kingdom of Saudi Arabia and the country which we belong. So similarly, the promotion of the relationship between Saudi Arabia and Nepal would be in different sectors. For example, we can have you see that common resources in biodiversities. We can have you see common you see that ventures or joint ventures about tourism as well. So similarly, we have the hydroelectricity perspective, and in Nepal, the hydroelectricity generation, you see, that is more prosperous in our country. So in these different fields, then we can exchange our experiences as well. Then we have the prospects of, you see, the mega agricultural farms. And if we can have the joint venture regarding the agricultural productions, then that will also be useful to both countries. Similarly, we have the necessity of investment in infrastructure in our country. And if the Saudi investors are, you see, that interested to open the banks with the joint venture, it will also be useful for our country. So in comparison to our country, Saudi Arabia is more industrialized. So that is why we expect more from here.
نيبال دولة سياحية وتتميز بسياحة صعود الجبال، وتتميز أيضا بالمناظر الخلابة. نعم، هناك مشاريع مشتركة، وهي أيضا تفتح أبوابها لاستثمار القطاع الخاص السعودي في البرامج أو المشاريع الكهرومائية والمشاريع السياحية والمشاريع الصحية. نيبال بلد واعد وفيه الكثير من الفرص التي بحاجة إلى استكشاف وإلى استثمار. المستثمر السعودي منفتح كثيرا على نيبال من خلال الكثير من التشريعات التي أجرتها حكومة نيبال والترحيب بالمستثمر السعودي.
I want to conclude here that the relation between Nepal and Saudi Arabia is decades old, and this relation is being promoted in the right direction, and we want to take the relation in a new height again. and we want that Saudi Arabia and Nepal would issue that they make in future different type of projects, different type of joint ventures, different type of exchanges of the, you see that even cultural aspects, and that will be in the benefit of the both countries, and that will be in the benefit of the peace-loving countries across the world.